Why is it important to save for a watch? It's a brilliant question. It's been asked of me many times, and I've been thinking about it a lot recently, because I am in a situation that's very much linked to this. I have been eyeing a watch for the last 2 months that I am almost certain that I want to pull the trigger on, but refrain from doing so. So before we get into those details, I will add a caveat, saying that we are all from different backgrounds, different means. We are all different ages, so it means what we aspire to own can be very different. And this topic is not focused on the high horology or even the entry-level horology. I'm talking more about the principle than anything else. We live in an age today where we can buy virtually anything on credit. It's easy. Click, it's yours. And then over the next period of 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you pay it off. Now, there are very reasonable examples when this is practical, like buying a house, paying off a mortgage, paying off your newly bought car. But with watches, it's something a little bit different, at least to my mind. See, what it does is, when you have this level of freedom to buy what you like, a lot of the time the object is bought on impulse. It hasn't been considered as much. What it means then is that you get the watch, and after a couple of months of ownership, you pay off the remainder of the bill and you sell it. There's nothing wrong with that, but wouldn't it be better to just eliminate that idea completely? See, when you're paying something on credit, you don't necessarily own it. It's not yours yet. And on top of it, there is a pressure to pay off this item, on top of the other pressures that you deal with. So what is it about saving for the watch? Well, there are many factors that complete this practice. What it does is force you to think about your purchase more. What it does is make you work towards the end goal. Every day you wake up and have a look at the watch. Does it still speak to you as much as it did the day before? And say it takes you a period of 8 months to save for this piece. Do you still feel as strongly as you did for it 8 months ago? And what it does, this process of saving, it validates your choice so much more, because it gives you this laser focus on what you want exactly. You could almost say that you obsess over it. And like with anything, working for that end goal, spending all that time and investment of your time into saving for this watch. In the end, when you have it in your hand, it is a real sense of achievement. You truly feel like you worked for it. Plus, the fringe benefit is that you can, in fact, afford it. But more than anything else around this subject, the process of saving for your watch teaches you discipline. It enforces discipline. In our modern world, we aren't disciplined anymore. Think about the fast foods. Think about the easiness of how you can conduct your life nowadays. The whole concept of credit further emphasizes this point. If you are planning on spending it on something as trivial as a watch, and once you've finished this exercise of saving for it over a course of a year, let's say, not only do you look at it and see it as a sense of achievement, a goal, something that you have been looking forward to owning for well over 12 months, but then you look at it again and say that this is discipline. Yes, hard work is something that got me to this point, but in actual fact, because the real 2 reasons why I have the watch on my wrist right now is because of discipline and commitment. Now, many of you who are interested in this hobby, who feel the same kind of passion that we all do, might be in a headspace to say that you cannot afford the watch. It's so difficult to attain, but also I'm being marketed to own these things on a daily basis, looking at a platform like this. Seeing the watches on offer, it's so easy to just say, yes, that's the one I want, and go for it. So now addressing the audience. There may be many of you out there who look at these things and think to yourselves, I will never be able to own one of these. They are so expensive. The prices are so far ahead of what I could ever afford. Maybe that I am not capable to afford one of these things. Don't worry, many of us have been there. But following through with this exercise of saving for the watch, it's not necessary to put huge amounts aside every month to save for the piece. Small amounts, frequently, as often as you can spare it. Eventually that snowball becomes an avalanche, and you wake up suddenly thinking, wow, this wasn't impossible. On the flip side of the coin, we look at the other audience members who sees what is advertised to them all the time. We all feel that temptation, don't worry. These are beautiful objects that are always in our face, and a lot of us lack that discipline to say, do I really want it? Does it actually complete what I've been looking for? And the process of buying it is so easy. It's a click and it's yours. But ask yourself how much more you would value the watch if you saved for it. This talk isn't aimed to persuade you, just to present a different thought on the matter. And it really is an excellent life lesson for any venture, for anything you do. Commitment, discipline, and dedication seeing this end goal and fixating on it will ultimately be much more rewarding and feel like a greater sense of achievement if it is considered more. I would really like to know your thoughts on this subject, because we all have different opinions in this area. And I think the value of this exercise comes from community feedback and maybe what you have learned along the way.